constant. And what it does is it totally ignores the concept of marketing to someone at the right time. It's the same thing as if you told somebody at your front door, no, I'm not interested in buying a vacuum cleaner. And they came back 5 minutes later and said, hey, are you sure you don't want to buy a vacuum cleaner?
It's insanity, Catherine.
Right.
I'll just put one word out there. Insanity.
Yeah. So if you're going to get into remarketing, I would say go to an expert, like somebody who's been doing remarketing, and get them to help you set up a more timed campaign that is going. I don't think that the technology is there yet for the everyday small business owner to set up what I would call a smart, quote unquote, remarketing campaign that does still display your ads or your brand, just intermittently, like very rarely to somebody for the next 45 days or 60 days or whatever that you would consider them to still be a hot prospect to your website. But the technology isn't there, I don't think, for the everyday small business owner or medium business owner to set that up really easily and quickly. So they're still having to rely on just like the Google ad retarget network, and that's not really fun.
Wow, I can't agree more. And in fact, I mean, it's well established on this podcast that I'm kind of a crusty old curmudgeon about things. But the way you described it initially, when you go to a site and all these things pop up, if I get like bombarded like that, I'll be like, even if it's something I really wanted to read or look up, just for spite, I'm like, screw this, I'm out. And I leave and I never go back because I'm a big powder, I guess. But yeah, I mean, how come
that'll show them?
Are there a lot of people like that though, Catherine? Like, I mean, I can't believe that they're just not losing a ton of business, because I can't imagine that I'm the only person that gets frustrated on that level where like, no, I'm not doing this, forget it.
Right. Well, and that's the problem is that, so there was the initial research that came out several years ago that basically said, hey, if you're retargeting people or showing them, giving them notifications, that there is a much higher conversion rate. And that's because, you are giving them an extra touch point to recognize your brand and to interact with it. So everybody and their mom basically concluded, yes, push notifications and retargeting and all of these things are a good thing, right? But that was when we weren't at that tipping point yet. This was for those outliers who were doing this, and they were doing it in a smart and innovative way. So the average customer, the average prospect thought, oh, you know what? This is kind of refreshing that somebody is showing you personalized recommendations. And Amazon obviously is a great example of this, of them like showing you based on their algorithm of what you bought, like the other personalized recommendations, and kind of sending you that, that email or sending you something else. But then it just started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's so saturated that push notifications, the idea of every business sending you push notifications or doing retargeting or something like that, it's starting to become that white noise again. So it's kind of going the way of the commercial in a lot of aspects. So now the problem is that most people are doing what I would call reactionary marketing, which is, oh, we need to jump on this